Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Karajan's Warner, Bruckner 4 and 7 with Berlin Philharmonic, reissued. Yes, how exciting. Pardon me if I'm not tap dancing on my desk chair here. I would fall. That wouldn't be a good thing. Anyway, here they are. The Bruckner 4 and 7, recorded in the Jesus Christus Kirche in the early 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1971. They never sounded that good. It was always a big, blowsy recording. Some people like that. Some people think that Bruckner sounds better in a cathedral acoustic. Oh, that's so wrong. What Bruckner did was he wrote his symphonies to be performed, obviously, in concert halls. The Musikverein in Vienna, which only seats 1,744 people. Not the world's largest concert hall, but a nice warm space. And he wrote the cathedral acoustic into the symphonies. That is, the echoes, the woodwind doing things, and the brass going do-do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da-da, that sort of stuff. All of those, the big pauses where you hear some reverberation, assuming the hall has some, all of that stuff he built in. But when you play it in a huge, echoey room, it all comes out as mush. Just plain sludge and mush. You hear that most clearly in the scherzo of the Fourth Symphony, where, at the climax, you've got the horns going crazy and the trombones with their cross rhythms, the trumpets and horns, da 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 da, and the trombones are going dum bum 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 like that, and but all you hear is a string tremolo. You just hear hee, and somewhere underneath it you sort of hear this. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, you're supposed to hear the brass. You really are. And a string tremolo should not cover the entire brass section. Just a violin tremolo for that. Anyway, or the beginning of the finale, where you've got all that stuff going, with the big unison theme, and there's dun 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 dun, like all that. No, it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out the way it's supposed to. The performance itself is basically the same as the one in the Deutsche Grammophon cycle. Karajan's Bruckner Fourth was never one of his better Bruckner performances. Bruckner's Fourth is a romantic, humane work. Bruckner, it's not about spiritual transcendence and all that crap. It's about, Bruckner said the trio of the scherzo is the hunters having lunch. I mean, it's about, people. And castles, and, yes, there's atmosphere galore, but, it's not supposed to be, Celibidache could turn it into some sort of, transfigurational event, but Karajan, no. And so the performance, I think, never catches fire. As far as the seventh goes, that was a piece Karajan did beautifully. He always did it beautifully. And this is a beautiful performance as well. The problem was, again, the sonics. First of all, in the scherzo. The scherzo, da-da-dum-bum, ba-da-dum-bum, ba-da-dum. You got the trumpet going da-da-dum, ba-dum-bum. Well, that trumpet is not in Berlin. It's in Leipzig. I mean, they're all going da-da-dum-bum, ba-da-dum. And suddenly you hear in the background, way, 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 way back. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not natural, and it doesn't really support what Bruckner's doing. It's supposed to be a rustic scherzo with maybe outdoor trumpet call, but not in the bathroom trumpet call. Anyway, there's that. And then, of course, the big thing with this seventh was that there were 4 bars missing from the finale. Because the second subject of the finale is one of those Bruckner repetitive things. It's a sequence. Do, 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 do. Then it does it again, a little higher up. Do, 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 do. Well, that one was missing in many of the 100 trillion remasterings. Now, I don't know when they found it or where they found it. Who knows? It could have been anywhere. I mean, maybe finally the airline returned it to them. I don't know what happened. But But I ran down to the overflow room and found the former big Karajan edition, the one that had like 80 something CDs and two big collections, the vocal music and the orchestral music. And, just to make sure that was missing and to make sure they put it back here. And they did put it back. They'd find it, which is very nice of them. I mean, I'm glad that they found it. I'm glad that it's back. It's a beautiful Bruckner seventh in really, really lousy sound, I think. And I don't think there's any question that the Deutsche Grammophon seventh, that Bruckner, that Karajan did in Berlin is much finer. And then remember, he did a last one in Vienna again, although I think the Berlin one is still his best. That's a symphony where you can do what Karajan does, which is just close your eyes and beat metronomically and observe sort of terrace dynamics, and you get this kind of spiritual fulmination, at least in the first two movements. The last two are not supposed to be like that, and he doesn't conduct them like that, so it's okay. I just think that nobody needed to hear these again, and except for the putting back of the 4 bars in the finale of the seventh, if this is where they did it, because there's also that other Karajan edition that came out that had, the ones in the separate boxes, the little boxes. I mean, I have that sitting in the other room there, and I knew where I could find one of the previous remasterings of it. This is supposedly an SACD. It's remastered in HD 192 kilohertz and 24 bits from original tapes by Studio Circe, but I mean, who cares? It's garbage in, garbage out. If the original recording had balances that were just bizarre, then so's this. Not unless you give it to like AI and say, fix it, AI, and AI knows how to fix it. It's never going to get fixed. And it doesn't need to be fixed because we already have Karajan doing these works anyway in perfectly decent sound on Deutsche Grammophon, and his interpretations really never changed over time. Very, very little. He was one of those conductors who just sort of latched on to what he was doing, closed his eyes, and did it. And it came out basically the same every time. The only difference was the sonics. So there you have it. The completely unnecessary Karajan Bruckner 4 and 7 on Warner reissued again. Are you celebrating? Perhaps not, but let's keep on listening anyway. Take care.